Hi, I'm going to do a walkthrough of a potential workshop that I'm thinking about building. I'm super excited to finally be able to do something like this, and it is from scratch, so I have an opportunity to build it exactly from the beginning as I want to, and I'm sure I'll get some things wrong, and that's what I'm looking for advice for people who have done this sort of thing before, maybe. Um, and I guess starting with that, it's primarily for woodworking, carpentry stuff, and things I want to build around the house. There's a bunch of cabinets I want to build and furniture I'll build through the years. Um, Probably be around for a few decades. This workshop, I'll be using it, so I want to make sure it can get the most out of it. And um, I guess starting with that, we live in a fairly cold climate, so the workshop is it has fairly thick walls, which are due to wanting to build with ICF for a variety of reasons, but the cold and noise isolation, so I could work at night if I want to. Also to get experience with ICF in case I want to build other structures with it in the future. Um, so here it is. It is 200 square feet and 15 feet tall on the exterior due to um, constraints of regulations in where I live. And that's the size and part of why it has 2 stories, even though each floor is relatively short in how I have it spec'd out right now. I think it's like 6'9" on the first floor, and then it ranges from 5'6" to 6'3" or something on the, let's see, 6'5" on the second floor. Um, and with a 112 slope roof to give the maximum height that I can. So the most important thing that I need to cover here is the main workflow. Again, I said woodworking, so like rough lumber and getting the most out of that. So the first thing I put in is a bandsaw, a jointer, and a table saw. Also of note is a track saw setup. So this is a long 118-inch track saw guide, and then this is rigid foam that's 8 by 12 so that I can drop it down to the floor and cut down there, or maybe one of the workbenches if I can figure that out in here. So all of these units here are meant to roll out. I don't have any of them yet, actually, but picking out if money wasn't an issue, which it will be. But I'll see where it goes and what I can find on the market and whatnot. This is a saw stop 36-inch cut down to 24-inch. This is a Grizzly 8-inch jointer. I'm not particularly tied to it, but it looked decent from research. And this is a Laguna 18-inch bandsaw. And this is to give me the most like resawing capability of future-proofing it and whatnot. Hopefully I end up with this stuff, but I don't know if I will exactly, and it gives me something to at least plan around. Um, so all of them can roll out, including the saw stop. I think the 36-inch actually will roll out, but it's a little tight. So I went with a 24-inch here for the designs, which I may end up having to cut the saw stop down to something like that. And then I have some other stuff on this side. Planer and oscillating edge belt and spindle sander, flip top, so that I can do both. And something I've noticed is the flip height being the same as a saw stop. Trying to make the saw stop the same height as the planer, and that's what this little, or sorry, the jointer. Saw stop, planer, jointer, all the same height, and that's what this little thing is. I don't know how easy or hard that's going to be with the rolling casters on the jointer, or what tool I get if it's perfect, but I'd like it to be so I can reuse them all. The router table, again, the same height. Assembly table, the same height. MFT holes on the assembly table. And folding wings. Other things here are plywood storage, of course, lumber storage here probably, and then in the back probably more tools and whatnot. And every square inch used from the ceiling to the walls, probably be some cabinets back here, some drawers in the stairs, and whatnot. So that's the first floor, the primary workflow, air filter. Yeah, that's about it on the first floor. So then we climb up to the second floor on these stair ladder things, trying to make the most of the space. And make it easy as I can to climb it while not taking any space. So on the second floor, we have a workbench primarily with some benchtop tools. I already have these actually. They've been kind of getting me by for now. Drill press. I'd love to get a standing drill press, but there's no room on the first floor. Maybe I'll figure it out. I kind of doubt it. A deep cut bandsaw. This is something I have already. It cuts metal and wood, and it's just on some little stand. Bench grinder, belt sander, um, and then the particular note, I guess, is the dust collection Harbor Freight blower put up here with the other thing people have hacked and putting a dust cyclone and a barrel to collect the dust with a filter. And then the pipe would go through, and there's pipe poke through there and go to the big machines down here. I don't know, it might also come to over here. I don't know if that'll be useful or not yet. Other tools, rolling carts down here, who knows what'll end up in them, and generally kind of trying to keep this a little open and room for expansion in the future. I might want a CNC. I probably can't fit a large one up here. I tried to fit like a 8x4 plywood cutting CNC, but it came out to be a bit of a disaster on the second floor. Probably doesn't make sense, and the cost would be prohibitive too. So maybe I'll end up with a little 4x4 somewhere that's like homemade. Other things on here. This is for air conditioning and whatnot. So this is a mini split. It'll be heating and cooling, the primary unit, and then this is a ERV to pull clean air into the house, and an air filter, the general things you see people put on their ceilings and workshops to keep the air clean. There's another one on the downstairs. Dehumidifier into the space here, and a couch. It should be a relaxation area up here, break room, a little bit of too, when I need to in the winter when it's cold outside and I don't want to go out there. So again, I mean, I went through all the details kind of to like, I want a sanity check that this workshop makes sense. It's going to evolve over time, I'm sure, but once we build it, there's no turning back and tearing down walls because everything is going to be out of concrete. I think even the floor here will be concrete. I'm not entirely sure on that, but the walls, the roof, I want concrete. And so changing where windows are or doors are or the dimensions is going to be like pretty much out of the question, unlike with a frame or a wood construction. So I want to get as much of this right and hoping to get some experience from you all. If anyone has done this sort of thing before, I'm sure others have. Let me know what you think, and thank you. I really appreciate it.